Think about this for a second. What if the very thing you thought was killing you was actually the leash your enemies were using to keep you in line? It sounds like something out of a nightmare, right? But for Britt Westbourne, this might just be her reality. We've all been watching her live under this dark cloud of a Huntington's disease diagnosis for what feels like forever. She's been convinced her body is a ticking time bomb, inherited from her father, the infamous Caesar Faison. But now, everything is shifting. Britt has made a choice that has everyone in Port Charles, and all of us at home, absolutely stunned. She's officially on the run with teen Rocco Falconeri. And the crazy part? She's left behind the very medication she thinks she needs to stay alive. Is she really on a suicide mission, or is she about to stumble onto the biggest lie of her life? Honestly, I have to ask you guys, do you think Britt is being a hero here, or is she just being incredibly reckless by taking a kid into her mess? Let's look at the facts of this escape, because it's a lot to process. Britt and Rocco didn't just walk away. They hightailed it out of town and destroyed their phones so nobody could track them. We know Britt even bought a one-way ticket to Berlin. But before she vanished, she did something interesting. She reached out to Sonny Corinthos and gave him the dirt on Jen Sidwell. She told him Sidwell was the one who killed Professor Dalton and that his assistant, Pascal, helped cover it up. It's like she's clearing the deck before the end comes. But why take Rocco? Well, the kid actually begged her to take him. He's the one who shot Ross Cullum to save her and Jason Morgan, and he was terrified of what Cullum would do to him or his family if he stayed. Britt tried to say no. She really did. She told him she was dying and that she wouldn't be able to protect him for long. But Rocco wouldn't listen. He told her that since she brought him into the world as a surrogate, he wanted to be there when she left it. That is some heavy stuff for a teenager, don't you think? The funny thing is, the fans are totally divided on this move. Some people are literally seeing red over it. They're calling Britt selfish for taking a vulnerable kid on a dangerous run while she's unfit to be a parent. They're asking how she's going to protect anyone when she can't even protect herself from a terminal illness. But then you have the other side of the coin. Other fans feel like this is the first time Britt is being truly honest with Rocco. While Lulu and Dante were busy in crisis management mode and treating Rocco like fragile luggage, Britt sat him down and gave him the truth. She didn't sugarcoat the danger. And maybe that's why he trusts her more than his own parents right now. It makes you wonder, who's really the better parent in this situation? The ones lying to him for his own good, or the one telling him the scary truth? Now, let's dive into the medical side of this, because this is where things get really suspicious. Britt believes she only has a few months left without those vials of magic medicine she was getting from Sidwell and Cullum. But where is that number even coming from? It's coming from the very people who were blackmailing her to finish her cold fusion research. Think about it. Sidwell and Cullum aren't exactly known for their honesty. There's a huge theory going around that Britt doesn't even have Huntington's disease. The idea is that Sidwell and Cullum faked the whole thing. Or maybe even Victor Cassadine started the lie years ago to manipulate Britt's mom, Liesl Albrecht. If they could make Britt believe she was dying, they could make her do anything to get her hands on that cure. One fan on Reddit even suggested that the drug they've been giving her is just sugar water. Can you imagine the level of evil it takes to tell someone they have a fatal brain disease just to get them to work in your lab? The psychological toll on Britt is just heartbreaking. According to Kelly Thiebaud, Britt is ready to die at this point. She's feeling helpless and alone, and she's convinced herself that her death would actually make things easier for everyone else. She's told herself, "It's better for me to just go away because I'm the problem here." That is just so dark. It's like she's already grieved her own life while she's still living it. But here's the kicker. Spoilers are suggesting that the longer she stays off this medication, the more she might realize she feels totally fine. She used to have these mild tremors if she missed a dose, but couldn't those just be from the insane amount of stress she was under? If she doesn't get worse, she's going to start asking questions. And when Britt Westbourne starts asking questions, people usually end up in a lot of trouble. Then we have the whole mess with Nathan. 4 months. We've been looking at this guy who looks like Nathan West, but we finally know the truth. It's actually his twin brother, Cassius Faison. And get this, Britt knew it the whole time. That's why she wasn't happy when she heard her brother was back from the dead. She's been in contact with Cassius for a couple of years, and he's the one who actually hooked her up with Sidwell and Cullum to get the meds in the first place. Talk about a family betrayal. Her own brother helped facilitate her medical enslavement. Cassius even warned her that he wouldn't protect her if she didn't follow the plan and finish their father's final project. It's like the Faison family tree just keeps growing more poisonous branches. Do you guys think Cassius has any redeeming qualities? Or is he just a chip off the old block like his father? Back in Port Charles, the search is heating up. Dante and Lulu are desperate to find their son, and the tension between them is through the roof. Lulu is beating herself up, admitting she might have accidentally pushed Rocco away by trying too hard to protect him. And Dante is dealing with the fact that his son left a video message saying this was all his choice. Rocco even used a secret code, "Not all who wander are lost," to let his mom know he was safe. That's a line Lulu's parents, Luke and Laura, used to use. It's a nice touch, but it doesn't change the fact that a teenager is on the run with a woman who thinks she's dying. Dante has Sonny's tech expert, Brick, on the case, and you know if anyone can find them, it's Brick. But what happens if Cullum finds them first? Cullum is out for blood after Rocco shot him, and he's not the type to let that go. The cold fusion part of the story is also super important. Britt wasn't just working for these guys because she liked the view at Windmere. She was being forced to use her brilliant mind to finish a prototype for a project her father started. This research is clearly worth a lot of money and power, which is why Sidwell and Cullum are so obsessed with her. They need her brain, and the best way to keep a brain working is to threaten the body it lives in. It's such a calculated, cold move. If the spoilers are right, and Britt discovers she's healthy, that cold fusion research could become her biggest weapon. I'd love to see her use it to take down the men who tried to cage her. Wouldn't you love to see Britt get some real payback after all she's been through? Looking ahead, the fallout is going to be massive. If Britt gets retested and finds out she doesn't carry the Huntington's marker, it's going to change everything. Not just for her, but for the whole show. A lot of people find the miracle drug plot a bit offensive to real-life patients who actually deal with Huntington's, so having it be a total scam would be a way to wrap that up and keep Britt on the canvas. Plus, it sets the stage for a huge confrontation. Imagine Britt coming back to Port Charles, realizing she has a whole life ahead of her, and realizing her brother and his associates stole years of her peace. She's going to be unstoppable. And what about Jason Morgan? He's currently MIA, but if he finds out Britt is alive and has been lied to, you know he's going to be right there by her side. Are you guys still shipping Jason and Britt? Or do you think that ship has sailed? There's also the question of Rocco's future. This trip is going to change him forever. He's seen a side of the world most kids his age never even hear about. He's been a bodyguard, a runaway, and a witness to some really dark stuff. Even if he comes home safe, he's not going to be the same kid who is worried about cafeteria pizza. He has this deep bond with Britt now that Lulu and Dante might never be able to compete with. It's a messy situation all around. But in a weird way, maybe Britt was the only one who could help him grow up. She treated him like a person, not a problem to be solved. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your son is just gone. No note on the pillow, no text message. Just a shattered cell phone lying in the dirt and the terrifying realization that he's with the one woman in town everyone calls dangerous. We've all been glued to our screens watching Dante and Lulu absolutely fall apart, but you have to ask yourself, can they really track down Britt and Rocco before it's too late? Or is the truth about to come out in a way that changes Port Charles forever? This isn't just a simple runaway story. It's a high-stakes game of psychological chess, and right now, the good guys are starting the game without any of their most important pieces. Was this really just a desperate move to save a kid from an assassin? Or has Britt Westbourne unknowingly led Rocco right into the most elaborate trap in soap opera history? Let's look at the facts of this escape because honestly, it's a lot to wrap your head around. Britt and Rocco didn't just walk away. They vanished with the kind of precision that only someone raised by Caesar Faison could pull off. They destroyed their phones. They used a fake passport for Rocco under the name Tyler Anderson. And Britt even bought a one-way ticket to Berlin. But while Dante is busy filing search warrants for empty apartments, I think he's missing the bigger picture. This search is failing because the police are using logic, while the people they're hunting are operating on pure, raw survival instinct. Why did this happen? Well, if you ask me, it's a classic case of what I call the protection paradox. The more Lulu and Dante tried to shield Rocco and treat him like he was too young to understand the danger, the more they actually pushed him away. He didn't feel safe with the people who were lying to him. He felt safe with the one person who told him the truth, even if that truth was terrifying. The thing that's really getting to people, and I know some of you are absolutely seeing red over this, is the idea that Britt is being selfish. I've seen the comments online where fans are calling her unfit and saying she's taking advantage of a vulnerable kid. But let's step back for a second and look at it from her perspective. Rocco is the one who shot Cullum to save her life. He's the one who begged her to take him because he was scared of what would happen if he stayed. Britt actually tried to say no. She told him she was dying. She told him she couldn't protect him for long. But Rocco wouldn't budge. He told her that since she brought him into the world as his surrogate, he wanted to be there at the end of hers. How do you say no to that kind of loyalty? I honestly think Britt is showing more respect for Rocco's maturity than his own parents are right now. While Lulu was busy planning to hide him away without even asking him, Britt sat him down and gave him the straight facts. Who's really the better parent there? The one who lies to protect, or the one who honors the truth? But here is where things get really suspicious. We all know Britt believes she's living on a deadline because of Huntington's disease. She's convinced she only has a few months left if she doesn't have those vials of medication from Sidwell and Cullum. But have you ever noticed that she's never actually gone without the meds long enough to see what happens? There's a huge theory going around, and I'm starting to think it's the real deal, that Britt doesn't even have the disease. Think about it. Sidwell and Cullum needed a brilliant scientist to finish that cold fusion project. What better way to keep a genius in your pocket than to convince her she's dying and that you're the only one who can save her? It's the ultimate form of medical gaslighting. One fan on a Reddit thread even suggested the medication is just sugar water. Can you imagine the level of evil it takes to tell someone they have a fatal brain disease just to make them work in your lab? It makes my skin crawl just thinking about it. The psychological toll this is taking on Britt is just devastating. Kelly Thiebaud herself has said that Britt is ready to die. She feels like she's the problem and that everyone would be better off if she just disappeared. That is such a heartbreaking place for a character to be. She's already grieving her own life while she's still breathing. But wait, what if those tremors she had in the past weren't symptoms at all? What if they were just physical manifestations of the incredible stress she's been under for years? If she's on the run and she starts to feel better instead of worse, she's going to start asking the kind of questions that get people killed. And I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to see the look on Sidwell's face when he realizes his bird has flown the coop and she's starting to figure out the cage was never locked. Now, we have to talk about the Nathan of it all, because this is a total game changer. We finally know that the guy running around Port Charles isn't Nathan West. It's his twin brother, Cassius Faison. And the real shocker? Britt knew the whole time. That's why she wasn't jumping for joy when she heard her brother was alive. She's been in contact with Cassius for 2 years, and he's the one who basically sold her out to Sidwell and Cullum in the first place. He told her she wasn't doing enough for their father's final project. Imagine having a brother who treats your life like a lab experiment. It's just peak Faison family drama. Cassius even warned her that he wouldn't protect her if she tried to run. So when Britt took Rocco and smashed those phones, she wasn't just running from the law. She was running from her own blood. Do you think Cassius has even a shred of humanity left? Or is he just a hollow shell of his father? Back in Port Charles, the pressure is reaching a breaking point. Dante is coordinating with Chase and this new detective, Joe Fitzpatrick, but they're looking for a kid and a doctor who don't want to be found. And let's be honest, the PCPD's track record isn't exactly great. The real wild card here is Sonny Corinthos. He's the one who is Brick on the case. And we all know that if Brick can't find you, you don't exist. But Sonny isn't doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He wants the information Britt has about the Dalton murder. He wants leverage against Sidwell. It's a cold world when the people trying to save you are really just looking for a witness to help their own business. I'm really worried that Sunny's involvement is going to bring the mob's violence right to wherever Britt and Rocco are hiding. Is that really a rescue, or is it just moving from one fire into another? The funny thing is, the answer to everyone's problems might be sitting in an envelope that Sidwell is too scared to open. He has Marco's autopsy report, and he's convinced it holds the clues to who killed him. He thinks it might have been a crime of passion, and he's even looking at Lucas. But Ava is right there, whispering in his ear, telling him not to look. Why is she so protective of Lucas all of a sudden? Or is she protecting herself? There are so many layers of deception here that it's hard to keep track. But the biggest one is still Britt's health. If she's healthy, then the entire foundation of this story shifts. She's no longer a dying woman on a suicide mission. She's a warrior who has been lied to and used, and she's going to want revenge. I'm predicting that we're going to see a major showdown in Europe. Britt is going to track them down, but he might not be the only one. Ross Cullum is on a kill quest to get back at the kid who shot him. Can you imagine the tension of a standoff in a Berlin hotel room between a tech genius, a dying doctor, a brave teenager, and a professional assassin? It's the kind of stuff that makes General Hospital legendary. And if Britt finally gets a real medical test while she's over there, not one controlled by Sidwell, the fallout is going to be massive. If that test comes back negative for Huntington's, Britt isn't going to just come home quietly. She's going to burn down everything Sidwell and Cassius have built. What about Lulu and Dante? Even if they get their son back, is their family ever going to be the same? Rocco sent that video message with a secret code. Not all who wander are lost. That is a direct link to the Luke and Laura era. It tells me that Rocco isn't a little boy anymore. He's a Spencer. He's a wanderer. He's found a part of himself on this trip that he never could have found in a classroom. I think Lulu is going to have a very hard time accepting that her son is growing up to be more like her father than she ever wanted. It's a tough pill to swallow when you realize your protection was actually a prison. So, where do you stand on all this? So, here's what I'm predicting. Britt is going to track them down, but not before Britt realizes her health isn't failing like she expected. We're going to get a dramatic scene where she finally gets a real test and sees that negative result. And then, the Britt is going to be back in full force. She's going to use everything she knows about Sidwell, Cullum, and her brother Cassius to burn their little empire to the ground. She's not going to be the victim anymore. She's going to be the one holding all the cards. I don't know about you, but I am totally here for a Britt Westbourne revenge tour. It feels like she's earned it after all the trauma she's been through lately. Before I let you go, I want to hear your thoughts on a couple of things. First, do you think Britt is doing the right thing by keeping Rocco with her, or should she have forced him to go back to Lulu and Dante the second they left town? And second, how do you think Liesl Albrecht is going to react when she finds out her son is actually Cassius and that he's been lying to her about Britt's health? That is going to be one explosive family reunion. Make sure you drop a comment below and let me know what you think is going to happen next. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the latest General Hospital drama, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update from Port Charles. There are so many twists coming, and you definitely don't want to be the last one to know the truth. We'll be right here covering every bit of it as it happens.